friends, trolls, and everything in between. This is Star Spangled Eggs coming to you at the end of a very historic day. That is right, it is a historic day because the Skullgirls campaign finally achieved their fundraising goal, and that means quite a bit for all of us Skullgirls fans out here, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And so I just wanted to make this video just to let everybody know that not only have they achieved that goal, but what exactly that means for us, and show you what is to come from this amazing game. Alright, so we'll go ahead and dive on into it right now. For those of you who don't know what Skullgirls is, it's a small community-driven DLC fighting game that was released early last May or so. And what I mean by community driven was that this game was made specifically by the community with heavy feedback from the community and a lot of people giving their input, and now it has become, in my opinion, one of the best fighting games that there ever was. It was released on the Xbox 360 and PS3 for a very meager amount of $15, and the reason why it was so small was because it only had 8 starting characters in its starting roster. And those characters were Misfortune, Philia, Parasol, Painwheel, Double, and my personal favorites, and they also make up my current team on there since you can have 3, Cerebella, Peacock, and Valentine. Why are they my favorites, you might ask? Well, let me tell you, Cerebella is a giddy grapple character that can armor a lot of her specials, so that's always nice. One is a cartoon nightmare, and this being Peacock, that can cover the screen in anvils, animated bombs, and anything else one would find in an Acme cartoon. And one's a ninja nurse, and that being Valentine, of course. And what could be more awesome than that? Like, ninjas usually have kunais and all sorts of blades. She uses like scalpels and bone saws and all sorts of like weird, creepy stuff. And you just have to check her out. She is probably the most interesting fighting game character I've ever seen when it comes to like visual design and moveset design. And so, aside from the 8 starting out in the cast, the team always wanted to add more, as one can pick up from the large character select screen slots still available from the character select screen. There's, I think probably like 24 slots on it in total. I haven't counted recently, but I think that's what it was. But what got in the way was actually an unexpected lawsuit broke for a recent Def Jam game that took a lot of the funds from their main funding providers. And so I don't think that's even resolved yet. I think they're still working through resolutions with that. And so that took away their ability to put out those DLC characters for a long time. And that really put a halt on the game because they've had all these ideas that they wanted to put out, and you'll be able to see that a little bit later when I show some of them. And that's just one little thing was in the way. It is, you wouldn't think it'd be that expensive to make one character, but in this game it actually is. And so because they weren't satisfied with the game's lack of progression, Lab Zero was formed by actually breaking off of the company that's involved in the lawsuit. And then they actually started a donation campaign to fund the first DLC character named Squiggly. It's the one that people have been waiting for a very long time. I know I've been waiting for it probably, nearly a year or so. No, maybe that's not unfair. More like maybe like 6 to 8 months or something like that. We've all been waiting for it. And so actually, they needed $150,000 because that paid for the manpower, the different licensing costs and animation costs, everything that they would have to use to produce a character. And that goal was actually met on the first day that this campaign was active, right? That's $150,000 in a day based solely on donations. So once they realized, how much we supported the game, they actually went ahead and said, okay, well, let's go ahead and throw another guy in there named Big Band. He'd actually be the first male character in the cast. Since it's called Skullgirls, it almost seems like that wouldn't be possible. But people actually voted on him, having seen him in one of the stage backgrounds, and they just thought he'd be an interesting character to have in the game. And so they put a goal at $375,000 for that, and then we surpassed that, and now they're actually working towards a whole nother goal, but I'll get into all that in a second. And in between all this, they actually added some more bonuses that they would give us if we were able to reach that funding and supersede that funding. And like I said, one of the first ones was Big Band. And by the way, now he is fully funded, as is his story mode and exclusive stage. So along with Squiggly, we're also going to see Big Band make an entrance into the game. And he actually looks pretty neat. They've shown some of his attack concepts and things like that. So make sure to watch for that. And so the highest tier goal that they set for us was actually $625,000. So the highest tier they set was actually a whopping $625,000. And that, by the way, this campaign is only lasting a month, so it's either a make it or break it within that month. So $625,000 after they realized how much the community wanted the game to grow through the donation support. And so basically their whole idea was, however far you guys want to do this, we'd love to do it. We're really passionate about this project. As long as we're able to meet the financial part on our end, even with taking pay cuts and things like that, we'd love to do it. If you guys want to do it, we'll go as far as you guys want to go with this thing. And so the prize for actually reaching the 625,000 was we actually get to vote on a DLC character of our own choice. They actually released, I think, like 20 something characters or something like that, and they let us pick which one we wanted to make their third character, and they will actually make it and release it once they're done. So, I don't know of any other fighting game that's been as bold to turn it over completely to the fans and say, here you go, guys, give us a character and we'll make it for you because you've supported us financially. I think that's amazing, and I really hope that it turns out really well. So I'm gonna get into some of the options and everything that we have in a short bit. Because, like I said, they've released a ton of character concepts that we get to vote on if we participated in donating anything from just $1 or higher. And even though people are able to donate higher, there's actually different amounts that you donated got different special prizes for donation. For instance, the lowest one that I saw to get a prize was the $5 one. And what that does is get you a exclusive set of computer backgrounds. It's more of just like a pre-order price because you actually will get Squiggly, the DLC character, and maybe even the other DLC characters also for free on release. So because it's almost like pre-ordering the character, the expansion pack almost. Pretty neat. So and then those you could even donate a little more. There was like a $10 tier, $20 tier, and then it actually went all the way up to like a $7,500 tier, and then just under that like a 5,000 and then a 2,500. And they had like some pretty sweet prizes, like a all expense paid trip to Evo to meet the team, custom fight sticks, some T-shirts, and a bunch of other really awesome stuff. Oh, and you get to like design a character for one of the background stages in the game. And actually, you'd be surprised because to me that's a lot of money. I just don't have that kind of money. Those things actually sold out from what that they could offer because of course they have to have money to pay for those prizes too. Those the 75,000, the 50,000, or the 5,000 and the 2,500, those actually sold out. You can't buy those anymore. People actually donated that much money. You know, I can't think of anything I'd be willing to donate that much money to. That is really, really awesome, and I congratulate and clap and applaud whoever did. And they're going to be giving them donators some shout outs in the credits. And if you donate even like $10 or $20, you'll actually see your name pop up in there. I think that's cool. Um, and like I said, this was only going on for a month, and it's all just simple fan donations. They didn't do any huge, huge advertising or anything. This was all just donations that people can do, just average people like me and you and everything. And I donated a little bit, and I'm happy that I did. I think it's a really great cause, and it just really shows what a community can do when they are dedicated and they really like a game. Because at first, even if you just donated 5 or 10, it's like, well, it won't make a difference. But you know, think about how many people also thought that. And then if you had them all pay the $5, yeah, sure, one person by himself is not, but there's a bunch of other people who are like that, and so all together it has power. And so, I think that should be applauded that they were able to achieve that. That just, in my opinion, that attests to how great the product is. So if you haven't played it yet, just download the demo on PS3 or Xbox 360, and it will also be coming to Steam. They also are working on a PC port of the game. So definitely keep looking for that if you don't have either of those consoles. But check it out, it's really neat. So, um, I just wanted to dedicate this video to Lab Zero for getting all this, news out of to all the fighting gamers out there just like me. Definitely check out this game, and I have to say, it takes a lot of inspiration from the most popular fighting games we know, like Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and actually, gives a couple salutes, in some of the joking moves and some of the quotes and everything. It definitely, salutes out like Peacock, the cartoon character I was talking about. Like most of her attacks are pretty much like spoofing other things. Like she has a little revolver, and if you do the light version, it pops out a banner that says bang, just to be funny. And if you do the medium version, it'll actually pop out a variety of swords that will like cause wall bounce or whatever if you're close to the corner. One of which is Soul Bad Guy's sword from Guilty Gear. There's two swords in there from Final Fantasy, one from Cloud and one from Final Fantasy VIII. I don't remember whose sword it was. They have Ragna the Blood Edge's blade in there. They have some Resident Evil chainsaw in there. It's like her character is just basically to make these funny references to other things, and that's why I think she's so awesome. But anyway, back on topic. I'm gonna go ahead and actually, for all those who, like I said, for all those who donated the $5 minimum, they'll get the Squiggly DLC free, possibly Big Band, and the mysterious third character as well. We will also be receiving two bonus stages. One's a pretty ocean-themed casino, and the other one's a classy ballroom stage, which they decided to go ahead and give us to be nice. As well as some bonus meme voice packs and such that were donated to help sweeten the deal. And if that wasn't enough, like I said, we're getting to vote on the third character, so let me go ahead and tell you what they have for us to vote on. This isn't all the characters, these are just the ones that are sort of battling for my vote right now because I think they're really awesome. So first up we have Bloody Mary, and what she is she's the final boss from the Skullgirls arcade and story mode right now. And she's the current possessor of the Skull Heart, which is the artifact that everyone in the game is trying to get after. Because the whole game is pretty much about every fighter wants the Skull Heart for one reason or another because it grants a woman's wish, and if the wish is impure and corrupt, then the Skull Heart will corrupt the host, and then they'll become like a being set on destruction, and it'll pretty much kind of ruin their life, and then force whoever is trying to take the Skull Heart from her to kill her. So that pretty much like dooms her. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a neat little story actually. I was surprised at the depth that they did for each character's story mode and the whole mythos behind the world, if you will. I was surprised at the detail they put in that because a lot of fighting games have a bad reputation for sort of just kind of throwing whatever comes to mind, or and it doesn't usually make sense. Is how it works. But I think they did a good job in this game making the mythos actually matter and be cohesive and make you interested and involved in each character. And so Bloody Mary, I think it'd be really cool to see what she was like before she became the Skullgirl. What led up to her getting the Skull Heart and what her wish was that made her corrupt. I would love to see answers to those questions. But anyway, I have a couple more characters here to go over so I won't get caught up on that. Black Dahlia. She's a femme fatale assassin who totes a grenade launcher, and you can see it on her picture. And her design just intrigues me, as you never see what is behind her mask, and she's actually somewhat aged, is what the rumor is. And despite her age, she looks like she can throw down pretty good. I mean, she's holding a grenade launcher with one hand. I don't even think I can do that. They're pretty heavy, you know. And then after all, in the mythos itself, she's like the best assassin in the league right now. So I always thought assassins' characters were cool, and she just seems like she's one of those classy assassins. She's not one of the lame ones, I guess. She seems like she has some class, so I like that a lot. All right, and then this one's kind of strange, but it's a fan favorite, so I have to include it, and that's Stanley the Science Shark. And really, all he was just an obscure character in the background of the lab stage, and now he's become like a phenomenon. Like anybody who knows Skullgirls goes like, "Oh, Stanley the Science Shark, he's so awesome," because well, he's a shark who does science. What more do I need to say? It's just awesome. He's wearing glasses, got a lab coat. Um, yeah, if you don't see the awesomeness in it, then you just must not be talented with a sight for amazingness. Well, I don't know why he's so popular. He's just unique, I guess. Anyway, so next person, and these are getting down to like my top couple right here, from right under the Science Shark. All these guys are like my favorite. Tally Sin, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, is another Skullbro option. I call them Skullbros if they're boys. And he's a puppet master and a classical musician, as you can see by his puppet, who is also shaped a lot like a violin or a cello, one of those stringed instruments also. And it's also a very human-esque looking thing, so it looks like it was someone who he has converted into a puppet. And according to the released facts about him, his arms are wooden because that's part of his power, is being able to turn people into these puppets slash instrument things. So that's really neat to me. I love stuff like that. And the reason why is because I just think puppet masters in fighting games tend to have like the most interesting fighting mechanics out of every other archetype represented. I don't know why. They seem really neat, just having that extra person on the screen, and being able and having to work on controlling them while managing where your position is. And it's just, I love Puppet Master characters. They are so awesome. And he is really, really, really high on my current vote options. He's probably second or third, at more likely second, if not first. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out. All right. So next is Beowulf, who is a beast hunter who fights with a folding chair. And the reason why I like him is for two reasons. One, he fights with a folding chair, and the other person I think that fights with a folding chair is Kanji Tatsumi from Persona 4 Arena. And I really liked him. I think he is just an awesome character, you know. And then he also represents my second favorite fighting archetype, which is Wolf, like Wolf style stuff. Um, I love Valkenhayn from Blaze Blue and John Talbane from Darkstalkers. Both wolves for wolfy characters. I love that stuff. And so why not just give one of them a folding chair to fight with? Like you you can't beat that. You really can't. And so I think yes, Beowulf is the man. And then here we come to the manliest of all the Skullbros, Panzer Faust. I mean, he's got a tank for a fist. Like, I think I'll just stop there. All right. And then lastly, and this one, oh man, this one is so good. Most interestingly, one of the latest reveals is named Isaac. He is a time traveling archaeologist by description, which in and of itself doesn't sound that intriguing, but let me tell you what they did. But more intriguing was that Lab Zero already devised a gameplay concept for him and already started figuring out how his special mechanic would work within the game. And they haven't done this for the other characters. They gave like little generic puns and jokes of how they would fight and maybe even a little detail here and there written out, but they actually made a video for this one. So like I said, they posted a video even explaining the science behind his attacks and all the properties of time travel and its limits. So I mean, it's a real thinker, but for instance, he will attack from the future and it'll show a temporary double vision of himself on the screen when you're fighting, and he'll do whatever attack it is. And then if he gets hit during that attack from the future, a timer will actually count down a few seconds, and then the damage will register on your health bar, because then he himself will have reached that point in time, and then the damage will then apply to him because he'll have reached that point in time. It's really interesting, although it is hard to verbally explain. I'll actually leave the link in the description if anybody wants to see it, which I'd recommend, because I think it's a really unique mechanic for a fighting game. I haven't seen anything like it. So, and I love time traveling. I think that's pretty cool, and I've always thought to myself, since I eventually want to make a fighting game, I have a lot of good ideas about mechanics and things. I have one that works not the same way, but it's very similar to how this one works. So it was kind of neat to see that someone else was on the right train, that I was as well. And there's a slew of other characters as well, aside from these. These are just the ones that top my list of interest. I'm mainly deciding, like I said, between Taliesin, Beowulf, Isaac, and Black Dahlia, actually. And you can actually find the full list of the people. I'm going to put a link in the description below, and you can go and visit there. It's the Indiegogo link, and that's actually where they did the fundraising link that they just finally finished. It does have a couple hours left, at least right now. By the time you watch this, it may be over. But if it does, I would just like to say, even $1 gets you a vote. If this game is something you like and you watch it, you will realize that this is like the prettiest animated 2D fighter in the world. And it's gotten most of its awards for its animation alone, even before gameplay, and the gameplay is stellar. So in closing, I leave you with this. One, if there's donation time and you want to donate, even if it's as little as $1, every dollar counts. Please do get your vote in, see which character you like best, because you may not like the same characters I do. You may like some of the other ones that they have out there, and there is a lot to pick from, so go ahead and check out that list. Second, if you haven't tried the game, download it. If you have the time, just do it. You know what? Even if you don't have time, I don't care how much time you have. It takes no longer than 7 seconds to put the download on. I mean, everyone has hard drive space enough for the demo. It's not that big. And then when you do download it, you don't even have to give that much time to it when you have it. Just give it 5 minutes chance, man. Just 5 minutes chance. See if you like it. If you end up liking it, then spend the $15 and hop on the train, be a part of fighting game history. You won't, have missed out on it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I know at times I sound like a walking, talking billboard for fighting games, but the reason why I'm so passionate about these things and why I make these videos and tell you all about it is because if we support these things with our money, we'll see more and more of it. Skullgirls today in history has shown how far your money can go to supporting a game, what it can do for you. So definitely take a lesson of history out of what just happened today, because as far as I can tell, and this is truly a spectacular accomplishment, and it deserves the credit it's given. I mean, raising $625,000 in less than a month for a DLC fighting game on pure donations alone is nothing simple to accomplish. And on that note, I bid thee adieu, friends, trolls, and everyone in between. I would love to hear your feedback from who you guys think would be an awesome addition to the Skullgirls cast, and just anything that came to your mind while watching this video. But until then, this is Star Spangled Egg signing off.